Well, as an infant, I had seizures, which turned out to be related to my pancreas. I had a growth of islets, which was producing too much insulin, causing hypoglycemic seizures. So I ended up, after going to doctors all around the state, they were getting worse, months into it. So about 2 months old, I was rushed to Mayo Clinic by my parents, and they figured out that I had that growth of islets and that they were hypoglycemic, not just epilepsy, which is what the doctors here were all saying. So I took part in an experimental group study where they did a pancreatectomy and removed like 95% of my pancreas at 4 months old. So I'm mentioning all that because I grew up knowing my health was compromised and that I had a risk of redeveloping seizures and or diabetes. There were subtle effects, psychological stuff, anxiety, depression through my teenage years. But I had lots of chronic, headaches, migraines, ENT stuff, dental matters. I was an athlete, skateboarding. I got a black belt in Taekwondo at like 12, played soccer through my childhood. I very much an athlete and played ice hockey all through high school. And around 20 years old, I'd stayed at home and was going to the local university. And at 20, I just started having these instances where I had to lean against the wall because I couldn't remain steady. I was having this weird, so one of my things is some of the, I don't want to say I have my own perspective of the overall disease, but I have my own way of articulating it. And I feel like very deep breakdowns where I try to connect dots. So I don't want to say I go against the grain of anything, but I think the consensus out there isn't always that precise when it comes to these symptoms. So what I'm getting at here is the weakness. It's not a weakness that I feel. I feel a physical muscular interference. Mm-hmm. And that's what was occurring when I'd have to lean against the wall. Mm-hmm. But within a couple of weeks, and I should also add, this was all at home around my mom and my stepdad. And good fun, just like handing them a plate of food I'd cooked. They'd smile and I'd get this weird inner sensations and weirdness. I got diagnosed at 31 at Mayo Clinic. I went back there. I spent 3 weeks. I did the seizure test. I saw a neurologist, did sleep study, wore an actigraphy watch for 10 days, did the MSLT. I also have a sleep apnea, a central idiopathic sort of apnea matter, which when I tried the 3 different PAP therapy devices over 9 months before going to Mayo Clinic, it got nowhere. And my cataplexy got so bad, I was collapsing 5 to 20 times every day. That led me into writing my first book and doing a few books around 10 years ago. And then I've been an advocate, I feel like, since, just because almost every day I'm interacting on the subreddit or the Discord, or back then the message boards that got deleted, and then some other places. But recently I've been making some videos that I think are very strong, and I'm really trying to, I feel like there needs to be an evolution of the terminology and the grasp of the symptoms, because there's so much overlapping, and the way that these symptoms are broken into 5 symptoms when literally each part is like a bracket of at least 5, if not like 10 or 20 different things. And then when you start to really dissect it, there's so much overlap that I think they're missing something that's very apparent to us who really have been in it and kind of see through some of it. I don't know. I'm not trying to attack any of the experts or say they're getting anything wrong. The science is so valuable. And without that science, I wouldn't have been able to see into this stuff.
I mean, I'm really big on the mental health part of it, right? There's just this huge part with that mental health is concerned where, really we just don't touch on, and you see that when people are spending time with a physician or a sleep specialist, they just don't connect the dots when it comes to the mental health part of sleep deprivation. There's that huge miss there. And so that's why, like bringing Sarah, Richie, when we had the Colorado Strong Group, when we had her do a presentation, it was finally refreshing to have, this sleep specialist that brought in the orexin thing, topic down to a psychiatric level.